Hey guys, it's Tanya here from Iraqi Coaching. Here with your energy update for the week beginning Monday, the 11th of May. And now it's been a few weeks since I've actually recorded one of these. There's been a few big things happening astrologically. We had the Scorpio full moon last week. So big time for transformative change there. The nodes of the moon change signs from 18 months of spending of traveling through Cancer and Capricorn. Now we've got them in Sagittarius and Gemini, so that's really shifting our focus a little bit there. And I've written about this on my blog if you want to read more about it. But really, the main thing that has been taking up my creative juices at the moment has been my course Modern Goddess, which is starting this Thursday on the 14th of May. And it's an exploration of your own personal feminine energy through a combination of astrology, using the planet Venus as that beautiful jumping off point. So we've got astrology, we have embodiment practices and coaching as well. And it's really an opportunity for you to dive into Venus themes such as your personal self-worth and your values, your relationships, how you attract things to you, how magnetic you are. Venus also rules relationships and the receptive side of sexuality as well, so we'll be bringing that in. And the idea behind this is to tap into your inner Venus and your inner goddess and allow her to come out and to be there in the world and to express her in your own unique way, based on where she falls in your chart, in your birth chart. And once you get a handle on this, then you do start to feel more magnetic. You can attract more abundance, more opportunities, better relationships, and just feel pretty fucking amazing. So I do invite you to join me for this. It's for people who identify as women only. Sorry guys, but I'll put the details below and you can go and check it out. And interesting timing for the start of this course, although not so interesting because it was kind of deliberate on my part, but it is it coincides with Venus going retrograde. And now this is what I want to talk about in this video today. So I've got quite a few planets retrograde, so I'll just tap through them in order, shall I? We had Pluto go retrograde on the 25th of April, and it's the outest of the outer planets, and so it's really powerful and it really just controls society as a whole. And Pluto being this big transformative power, wealth and power really with Pluto, and we've had a lot of Pluto energy this year. We had the Pluto-Saturn conjunction in Capricorn, and then Jupiter and Pluto met up recently. And so it's been these big shifts and changes in who we are and how we have power and wealth from a personal and a global perspective as well. And so when a planet does go retrograde, it's a time for reviewing, reflecting, reconnecting, any of the words really. So Pluto, like going retrograde until the 4th of October, it's giving us this chance to review our personal power, our personal wealth, and how we're transforming that, because obviously so many countries are under their own isolation, social distancing rules, and so it's changing the way that we do business. It's changing world power. It's changing the world's wealth. So that's going to be a really big shift from now until October for us to review and reflect on that and how we're operating from a business perspective, because it is all happening in Capricorn, which rules business and hierarchies, big global institutions. So that's Pluto. So joining Pluto in going retrograde, we have Saturn. It'll be Monday if you're in Northern Hemisphere, Tuesday Australia time. And Saturn has been in Aquarius well, it entered in Aquarius at the end of March, on the 23rd of March. And it's just been sitting there. It's been sitting on 1 degree of Aquarius for a while. Aquarius is all about the group and the collective and society as a whole, and doing things for the betterment of everybody else. And when Saturn first moved into Aquarius, that's when, in Australia particularly, we had our social distancing laws come in. And so Saturn is a planet which restricts. It was restricting how we socialized and how we communicated as a group. And so everyone was jumping online. It was just, Aquarius is technology. And so everyone's just like, we're connecting online now. So we're having like this little taste of how we're connecting with people and how we interact as a whole in society. And so again, like Saturn, boundaries, it's all about tenacity, it's patience, it's mastery. And so as it's going through its retrograde period, and it will be retrograde until the 29th of September, but it's a time for us again to start reflecting on, well, how are we going with these boundaries? Are these boundaries that we want to keep going with? Again, like speaking from my experience in Australia, we're starting to get this roadmap to start to have more things open and be able to socialize slowly in bigger and bigger groups. And so this is a little testing period that we're going to be having. And, it's still going to be in Aquarius for a bit until the 2nd of July, and then it will be back into Capricorn. So I kind of feel like it's this little taste of like, yeah, we're still restricting the groups and we're just testing it out, and we're going to be seeing how it's going. And then when it gets back into Capricorn, it's when we start looking at the Capricorn themes, like I said, such as business and hierarchies and finances, etc., etc. So again, it's like a time for you to be like, okay, well, how are we interacting? Even though the laws are, changing, do we want to follow them? Like, it's your own resilience and your own authority, and just starting to have a play around with that a little bit. And joining the retrograde planets will also be Jupiter. So 14th, 15th May, depending on where you are in the world. So Jupiter's in Capricorn as well this year. And so Jupiter is a planet that gives us optimism and hope and expansion, and it's the happy-go-lucky planet. And so again, it'll be retrograding back through Capricorn, and, maybe we will start to feel a little less optimistic. Maybe, a retrograde planet, it brings all the themes into more of an internal perspective rather than externally out in the world. So, I'll be looking inside as of like, where is my hope? Where is my optimism? How can I feel good even amongst all of this change and changing power structures as well? And Jupiter, hopefully, we can tap into that feel good moment of like knowing that we're just going to be restricted for a little while, so that when we are out in the world, we can do it in a really good way and a really beneficial way, which, it means that we do it properly. That Saturn will help us do it properly, and Jupiter will give us the hope that this is all for a higher cause. So it is. Let me just share the screen with you. Actually, I can't because there we go. I can't. I've just updated my computer and I need to reset my settings, but it's all happening in Capricorn. So it's all of these retrograding planets happening in Capricorn. So again, we're looking at how business operates. We're looking at whether we want it to change. I mean, there's some people that I've been speaking to recently who have said that they're actually quite happy now that they've settled into this new way of life. So it's reviewing these structures that we put in place. And when we do return to some sort of normalcy, we'll be doing it in a different way and in a way that suits us, society. And then amongst all of this, Venus goes retrograde, and I spoke about this a little bit at the beginning, but she's a personal planet. And so while like Jupiter, Saturn, the social planets, Pluto's an outer planet, Venus brings it all back to us and what we really want. And so for 40 days, she goes retrograde every couple of years. And it's a time for us to be reviewing our values. It's a time for us to be reviewing our relationships and what we want from our relationships, whether our relationships are fulfilling us. And, you know, it's all about reviewing our personal money values, our personal dance with beauty and pleasure, and where we're giving to ourselves, and how we receive things as well. Like Venus being a feminine energy is all about resting and receiving. So amongst all of this, you know, COVID isolating time, we've switched our outer busy lives for something that's a little bit more restful. So maybe it's a chance for you to look at that and be like, well, I do kind of enjoy having more downtime. So maybe I will start to incorporate that a little bit more and not, you know, overschedule myself so much, and give time back to myself. So this is all this work that Venus will be helping you with when she's retrograde. And so it's looking at your own personal values, personal worth, personal relationships, amongst the bigger picture. So it's going to be a pretty interesting week as these planets are slowing down, to then turn retrograde. And, you know, you might feel like you're hitting your head against a brick wall. It often happens when a planet's retrograde, especially when it's you know, the planets which are a little bit more the outer planets, because it can really slow things down. We might feel like the restrictions aren't being lifted quickly enough, but Saturn is making sure that we do things properly, for instance. So take care, have a break, have a rest. And if you really do want to work with the Venus themes on a deeper level, and this is a brilliant opportunity too when she's retrograde as well, please come and work with me, with Modern Goddess. It's going to be really beautiful. And I look forward to guiding the women who join me with that. So have a good week. It's nice to chat to you again. And I'll talk to you soon.